I still haven't gotten over that. The whole input delay thing being removed, not just for the press start and new game continue, but even like this. This is something that only happens on hardware, but as soon as you like get rid of the guide, you would have to wait a good second. But now, you know, you don't have to wait. I think the reason it really just annoyed me was the fact that if you do this on the demo, it didn't have a delay, but yeah, retail just has a delay. Yeah, it's weird why they would even consider putting that in the first place, but whatever, it's gone now, that's the main thing. But no, even more than that, the main focus now is Silver can bloody levitate with objects held. It's fucking amazing. This is something that we do see in some of the, I say some as if we got more than one, but no, we really did get one clip of Silver doing it. This is something that he couldn't do even in the E3 demo, so it's still a mystery, really. If it's something that you could call a glitch, because the fact that it only happened this once in this clip, and we've never seen it before or after this, yeah, it's hard to tell, especially since the footage we have received makes it kind of look like it wasn't intentional. But needless to say, it's something that I have always wanted since playing on my first playthrough of Earth 6. But here we go. Look at this. This is just, oh my god, it really just, maybe it's just me, but I really do feel that it completes its gameplay that much more, and it's something that I am truly grateful for, not only for this to be restored in the original, but for KSX to implement it to Pier 6. Because, I mean, that was like the first real look we managed to get of gameplay of it. But now it's like, here we are. This really isn't something that has been seen in an actual demo. It really just only appeared in the in that one trailer clip, which is just insane that, you know, they had something like that. Again, it could have been intentional, it could have been unintentional. I'm still not sure. It really is hard to tell. Look at this. This is just insane. And it doesn't seem to have any like effects or side effects to it. It doesn't seem to like affect anything else. It's just you can't throw whilst levitating, which I think is something you can do in Pier 6. But honestly, a nitpick's a nitpick, and that is all it is. I'm not expecting that to be done. I don't want that to be done. I'm just happy that we've got this restored. You know, it's freaking insane. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be like object specific. You really can do this on anything. It's freaking amazing. I'm just trying to think though, like perhaps why they removed it. Maybe it's to do with the fact that like an early version of Silver from the E3 demo to even the TGS06 demo, like pretty much what you're seeing right now. How when you like grab an object or two, you really don't it doesn't take away from the meter. So forget an object or two, you can pick up literally every object and it won't take down an inch. Yeah, maybe for that reason they didn't like the idea of having, well, for one, you know, every object in the stage being picked up, but even more so having levitation during, you know, a state like this, because this is pretty damn overpowered, I've got to admit. Regardless whether it's used or not for future mods, again, it's just, I am so freaking happy that this has been achieved. This was the main one that I was hoping for, both last year and this year. I didn't think we would get it this soon in the year. Before this was restored, there was another patch that was made for Silver, where you could levitate, and when the meter would go empty, you would still be able to levitate. And if you would release it and then try and do it, even though it says it's full, you wouldn't be able to levitate. I believe this is related to if you drain the meter in retail and then just try to telelaunch and keep on telelaunching a good 2-3 times, the gauge goes from being empty to full. And if you try to levitate now, it still doesn't work. So I think it's related to that. But the point is, when this was achieved, when I first saw it, I was like, hang on, like, okay, it's pretty crafty what this patch can do, but could this like technically be like a lead to where Silver's, you know, levitation codes are, because, you know, hey, maybe this could actually give us some insight on where the codes are to get this levitation while the objects are held, you know? And I was dog-tired when this was posted, so I didn't comment on it. But I thought, you know, maybe I'll look into it when I get up tomorrow. Thankfully, I woke up early today. Because, you know, next time I come back online, it's already been achieved, so let's freaking go. Look at this is just insane. Being able to throw and levitate. It's just, it just, to me, anyway, it just seems so natural. It doesn't seem, like, it seems OP, but in a good way. I don't really know how to explain it, but, maybe because I'm trying this with, like, a bunch of other mods. Maybe, yeah, I should probably test this out on retail, just with the levitate with objects held patch. That way I can really kind of get an idea if this is, like, as overpowered as it seems, or if it's just because everything else is, like, ramped up. It's just so freaking natural. If anything, the only thing that I'm gonna have to change with my gameplay is how often I, like, spam the right trigger, because, like, if I do that now, instead of picking up objects, I'm going to release them. Albeit I can't do it while levitating, which is great. But, yeah, I used to spam it quite a lot. But now that I can levitate with it, I don't have to worry about spamming it. So, if anything, yeah, it's changing my muscle memory on how I play as Silver. But that's fine, you know, this is how it should have been from the get-go, at least in my opinion. Yeah, dude, I need to try this out without all the other adjustments so I can really just... Which even then, like, I guess, yeah, when you have this, this, like, demo edition of Silver where he, yeah, the meter doesn't go down at all when you pick up objects, yeah, that really does add to the overpowerness. It's already bad enough as it is that you can pick up literally every object in the stage. But yeah, to also be able to levitate with that, I mean, it doesn't really make a big difference, but still, it's like you're able to, like, travel more distances. Okay, your gauge is going to deplete when you levitate, but, you know, despite that, it's still... You could still cover more distances with levitating with every object compared to picking up objects and having a limit to it because the gauge is going down as you're picking up the objects. Because, you know, that's going to take away from your levitation, how long you can levitate for, compared to how I could just levitate as if I had a full gauge, because I did have a full gauge, so... Yeah, it's pretty broken, at least with that gauge, and maybe for that reason I should update it for that mod. But for now, let's move over to retail with this XEX patch. Yeah, I probably should have just done this from the get-go, but whatever. Oh, I soft-locked it. Oh! I did it again! Okay, so that's interesting. I thought you have to spam it when it's supposed to bring up the guide, or if you're on Xenia, if it, you know, when it brings up the next selections. But point is, yeah, I was spamming before it would bring up the guide in my case. So, okay, so I think if you spam it enough as the animation is playing, you can soft lock it, I guess. Yeah, see, even there, I like spammed the start button because before I was doing A button. I can't believe how just get in the game. And of course, I launched the fucking wrong XCX this time. Come on! Okay, no, now something definitely is wrong, because I, like, actually pressed it once, and it still did that. So, what's the kid? Skip the WMV. There we go. I'm gonna wait for the animation, and press it once. There we go! How come you shouldn't do that from the first place? Come on! Alright, here we go, moment of truth. Yeah, see, that's, like, there is, like, more of a limit to it. And that probably is how it should be, you know, because there's a limit to how many objects you can pick up. Likewise, there is a limit to obviously how long you're going to be able to levitate for, depending on the amount of objects that you've picked up. So yeah, that definitely is more, or in terms of like if they polished the game and really finished it, I feel like they would have released it in a state like this, because despite two good demos having Silver have the capability of picking up every object, I feel like that was mainly to just, it was for the sake of being overpowered, so it was easier for the players there at the conventions, because, you know, whoever's going to be playing isn't going to be playing for very long, compared to someone who's actually bought the game and is going to have it until they, you know, get rid of it. So in that regard, yeah, I can see why in the demos they would want to make it, you know, so it can pick up literally anything, just to make it a bit easier on the player. But yeah, I feel like if they were going to release it in a more functional state, in a more polished state, it would have been more something among these lines, you know? Because it really invites and encourages you to, like, strategize when and where you're going to pick up how many objects, and how that's going to affect your levitation, you know? It's just so surreal, like, how much of this stuff... okay, that's interesting. It's so surreal how, like, all of this... Like, a big chunk of this has been already achieved in the form of Pier 6, you know? Even with, like, stuff like the floating wind, you know? It's just... I'm sure so many people are used to Pier 6's wind controls compared to the originals. Since, you know, it was achieved on Pier 6 first. At least in terms of, you know... At least in terms of the restoration mod. And the same goes for this, for the levitation with objects held patch, you know? This really... This is something that, you know, I'm sure most of us, or at least right now, have played in the form of Pier 6. But now, actually going into the original, having the ability to do this is just... It's a dream come true. Because I actually do vividly remember the days where I was playing as Silva, playing through a story and just thinking, man, I want to be able to, like, levitate with the objects I'm holding still held. And back then, I dismissed it as something that they intentionally did. It wasn't until I saw the trailer footage where I was like, hang on, they did actually have it so we could levitate with objects held. And, you know, naturally that made me sad. I really have no idea, even to this day, if what we saw in that clip was a glitch or if it actually was intentionally coded. If I were to guess, I would say it was intentionally coded, but I just find it very strange that, you know, there is such a bizarre gameplay setup to get that to work, because it really did look like the player just interrupted the throw state or the throw animation by levitating, which is something you can't do in retail. And I think that's why it really gives me the impression that it wasn't meant to happen, because, yeah, in fact, you can't do it in retail. Because look, I'll do it now. While I throw objects, if I start levitating now, I do eventually levitate, but only after the animation has played. Because like I said, in the trailer clip, it really does look like he just interrupts the animation and cancels the animation by levitating, instead of what I do in retail, where I am forced to wait for the animation to play fully. So, if the animation is being interrupted, then I can see in that regard it being a glitch. What a way to build up to the 15th anniversary of this game. I feel like a lot of games out there that didn't do too well don't have a community or a cult following as this game does, and it's something that this game only really received till just recently. So I still remember the days where I would search on YouTube for, like, reviews of 06, only to find people, like, hating on it. I was just looking for just one review that was... It didn't have to be, like, sugar-coated and absolutely, like, a perfect and positive review. I was just expecting something like going, hey, you know, this game isn't as bad as people make it out to be. Kid me back then was looking for that, you know? I felt very alone in that regard, that I was just someone that had a very super unpopular opinion about this game. And all of the passion I had to all the changes that were made from, like, the trailer and the demo to the final, it saddened me more than anything, but hey, at least for this, we've received it now, and better sooner rather than later. There's some Pier 6 vibes for you. Yeah, this is gonna take a while to get used to fully. And, like, even that, how you can, like... I don't know why I was expecting him to, like, let go of the objects once the meter goes empty. But yeah, I'm glad that doesn't happen. But, yeah, okay. It's just, oh man, this is gonna, yeah, definitely take a while to get used to. So let's just test this out here, right? Because I'm just curious. Have I got enough energy to make it? Yeah. See, I'm just that's the main thing I'm curious about. If they actually made the level design, the retail level design, to cater for being able to levitate with objects held. I wouldn't think so, because, you know, they didn't even make the like, for example, the Dusty Desert placement. They didn't even make that to cater to the Herming gravity. So if they didn't do that, something as early as Silver being able to levitate with objects held, I doubt it. But with that said, you never know. I definitely am eager to play through all of Silver's campaign with this patch, just to really see just how far you can get. You know, with certain, like, level design. So even like this, you can't even... I mean, you can make it, but you're gonna have to... You can't hold it down. Start and stop a bit. Yeah, I really am shocked, though, about how E3 just didn't have this. I really thought that it would have. Especially how similar the build looks in that trailer clip. I mean, really, like, the only real difference, aside from, like, the geometry with the Dust Tornado and some building changes, the rings. Because the rings are, like, more... Like, it uses the shader of that hench ring, right? It just appears more gold. It doesn't have that, like, yellow look from the retail version. So, I mean, it is clear that it is a different build. But, like, yeah, I guess even the animations, where Silver would throw stuff in the air, it uses the animation it would use when you're on the ground instead. So, I mean, you know, there are differences, so maybe for that reason it should come as no surprise, but... I don't know why, I think it was mainly the hench ring that gave me the impression that, oh, okay, so it's got that same shader, so it must be a similar build, but obviously not similar enough. But we got it, that's the main deal here. I would totally add this to Project E3, but just to the simple fact that you can't do that, it's saddening, and I really, really badly want to include that. And maybe I will as just like a bonus XCX that's inaccurate for, you know, overpowered purposes, I don't know. So I think at this point in time, really, like, what actually can be done? Because, I mean, there's still, like, a truckload of TGS06 and review build states that can be restored in the retail version. The main thing I was hanging out for was, in fact, this patch. And, you know, that has been done. So, at this point, there really, like, is nothing major, at least in my eyes. The only thing that really comes to mind is how in the Xbox Live Arcade demo, if you swap... If you mod it and swap Silver for Sonic, if you pick up an enemy and release the enemy, instead of insta-killing them like it does in Pier 6, like it does in retail, instead it would actually keep them alive. Okay, the gravity system doesn't work, so if you, like, try to release them over a bottomless pit, they're not going to fall. Probably because the code was incomplete. I don't know if, for one, that could be restored. I feel like the retail gravity for enemies was a bit buggy. Because I know that if you do, like, your, what's it called? If you do your shock bracelet, where you pretty much, yeah, you do that ground pound. If you do that while the enemies spawn down, like they're coming down, they will get stunned. But when the time expires, they don't end up falling down. They don't have any kind of gravity to make them reach the ground. They'll just stay up there. So that one's going to be a tricky one. So yeah, in that regard, I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't get done for a while, or if it does, if it produces some, like I said, some results that have gravity issues. Because, you know, again, even like the Xbox Live Arcade demo with mods, it does still have that kind of result of, hey, there's no gravity, so... So yeah, in that regard, I can see why they ditched it. They just, you know, reverted back to what we ended up getting. Aside from that, there is the whole gimmick where if you hold down the right trigger and you hold character bosses, in our case Shadow and Sonic, and if you throw them, it won't work. However, if you pause it when the character boss is stunned, then continue holding down the right trigger and the action button, then pause it again, buffer a frame, and then before you continue, make sure you hold down the action button. After a second or two, after you release it, you should throw the character boss and they should take damage. So there is that. I don't really know how making a patch for that could fix the inputs so you don't have to pause to do that. With that said though, the fact that Boss Silver can do this, perhaps that's where the codes are for us to look for. But anyway, with that, thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed, and huge thank you to Hyper for getting this marvelous patch. Yeah, just restoring this means an awful lot, but not even for this patch, for everything that has been achieved in the last couple of years is just absolutely insane, and I'm glad that I'm a part of this, and I'm glad that I'm sharing this with you guys, because it's just, again, the fact that like kid me wanted all these changes, and for the longest time thinking I was alone on this, but now realizing I wasn't, it's just breathtaking. So seriously guys, everyone, thank you. And with that, have a good one, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.